Rules are getting razor sharp. The Trump administration has drawn a hard red line. One wrong move, it seems, and you could be packing your bags for back home. With over 1 million international students in the United States, including hundreds of thousands from India and China, the stakes have never been higher. Our next report telling you more.
The message from Washington is blunt: zero tolerance. The Trump administration has slammed the brakes on new student visa interviews worldwide, signaling a sweeping crackdown on foreign students. The new rules are clear, and the consequences are severe deportation, visa revocation, and a permanent black mark on record. The suspension of visa processing came as Harvard students protested after the government said it intended to cancel all remaining financial contracts. Harvard students are calling the move an attack by President Trump on the prestigious institution.
I'm graduating this week, and so I think, well, not only is this my last week as a Harvard student, but it's a very important week as all my international friends and peers and professors and researchers are at risk and being threatened of, being deported.
Freedom of speech and due process, these are the foundations of the American system. These are the foundations of a free society. But Donald Trump is attacking these freedoms because they get in the way of his authoritarian takeover. This is what authoritarians do.
The U.S. government plans to ramp up vetting of the social media profiles of international applicants to U.S. universities. There are 4 major criteria. Skipping classes or having poor attendance could cause deportation. Dropout or change of program without notifying the school can lead to cancellation of visa. Overstay on visa or taking up unauthorized work can affect the visa of the student. Also, most importantly, post anything questionable on social media could cancel the visa.
So every sovereign country has a right to know who's trying to come in, why they want to come in, who they are, what they've been doing, and at least hopefully within that framework, determine what they will be doing while they're here. So that's nothing new.
Over 1 million international students study in the U.S., with India leading at 331,602, followed by China at 277,398, and Europe, 90,600 students. These students inject nearly $50 billion into the U.S. economy each year. But the new advisory means even the best and brightest aren't immune. Beijing urged Washington to safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of international students, including those from China. The sweeping U.S. measures have resulted in foreign governments moving to snap up affected students, with Japan and Hong Kong urging local universities to take in more international applicants. The evolving landscape necessitates heightened awareness and compliance from international students. In this new era, digital footprints are as consequential as academic transcripts.
Going straight across now to our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's been tracking those developments very closely and is with us from New York. Susan, these moves come with far-reaching implications. What are you picking up specifically on the social media vetting procedures and what they could look like?
Yes, it's very interesting, Molly, because what is happening right now is that there is no major directive. They are going to be getting these directives, embassies and consulates across the world, basically in a few days' time. So right now, because it's such a wide net, it's not clear what social media posts would be deemed problematic. Now, after 9/11, there was really a heightened scrutiny, understandably, for national security reasons on foreign students coming here because of what happened during 9/11. But then, this just takes it a step further. And I think the concern now is what is exactly being vetted? How far is too far? And, is a meme, for example, a problem, or is just an actual post, notably if it's sort of an anti-Israeli, pro-Palestinian protest post, or is it just something smaller like that? And I think these question marks is what has made everyone anxious, understandably, and put these foreign students in limbo right now at this time. Of course, as we mentioned in our report, as we were hearing, institutions like Harvard, Columbia University here in New York. These are Ivy League universities that really rely on international students, and they will be the ones that will be hit hardest by these measures. But it is admission season. It's at the height of admission season right now. Students are getting their responses and replies on whether or not they've been accepted to American universities. And if you're living overseas, you can imagine that preparations need to be made. And now we don't know, what's going to happen. This is just aside from the fact that those interviews are canceled indefinitely.
All right, so a lot of uncertainty. We'll, of course, keep coming back to you, Susan, as and when more updates trickle in. Thanks very much for now. In fact, to unpack all of this, we also spoke earlier to Richard William Painter, American lawyer and professor at University of Minnesota Law School. Listen in to what he shared with us.
What's going on here with the Trump administration is very difficult to square with legitimate national security concerns when they don't have a focus on the espionage risk or the theft of intellectual property risk. I mean, those are genuine risks we do need to address in our universities. But looking for social media content that expresses opinions about foreign conflicts, and we've got conflicts all over the world that students are going to have opinions on, but that doesn't do anything to enhance American national security.
And we're shifting focus for now to France, where the parliament has voted in favor of a bill to legalize assisted dying, paving the way for euthanasia under one of the strictest conditions in Europe. More than 300 lawmakers, in fact, backed the bill in the lower house, while 199 voted against. The National Assembly vote was an initial stage for the draft law, which will now go to the lower house and the Senate for modifications acceptable to both houses.
Today, I am especially thinking of all those who were not able to benefit from this, all the caregivers and all the people across France who are facing a difficult end of life. I want to tell them that we are thinking of them, that this law is for them. And I hope the Senate will rise to the occasion in the coming months.
And this, in fact, marks the first step in a lengthy process that could grant patients medical assistance to choose to end their lives in clearly defined circumstances. The French president has insisted that any authorization to choose death should be limited to people with incurable illnesses and intense physical or psychological pain. The bill lays down a number of conditions that allow assisted dying. First, the patient must suffer from a serious and lastly incurable, life-threatening, advanced or terminal illness that is irreversible. He or she must be over 18 years of age and must hold French citizenship or residency. Until now, French patients wishing to end their lives have had to travel overseas, including to neighboring Belgium. If approved, France would join a small group of European countries that give the right to aid in dying, including Germany, Spain, Austria, Switzerland. The bill brought by Macron ally would basically allow medical staff to help a person gain access to a lethal substance when they have expressed such a wish. On to Pakistan now, where the jailed ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan's sister has made a public appeal to negotiate her brother's release. Speaking to the media outside the Islamabad High Court, Alima Khan made a direct offer to stakeholders she referred to as unseen forces, who she claims are influencing legal proceedings against the PTI party founder. In her remarks, Alima Khan said, and I'm quoting, "I want to tell the unseen forces that I am ready to negotiate. They should tell us what Imran has done to them. Instead of fearing Imran and his sisters, they should speak to me directly." Khan's sister also made a give and take offer to the establishment for securing the former Prime Minister's release. She said, and I'm quoting further, "Let us know if you talk to us. Let us know if you want some give and take. And let us know what Imran should give and what you want." Alima Khan's remarks about her brother Imran Khan bringing about a different tone just one day after the jailed ex-Prime Minister himself said that he is willing to remain in prison for the rest of his life instead of, and I'm quoting, bowing before tyranny and oppression. On Tuesday, Imran Khan also announced the launch of a nationwide movement by the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf Party. In his social media post, Khan said that peaceful protest was the only path left for the PTI after party members have been subjected to injustice. In a move to restore tourist confidence after the Pahalgam terror attack, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah chaired a high-level meeting in Gulmarg. The meeting, held at the famous ski resort, included senior police and administration officials from across the Union Territory. Top cops, including the IGP Kashmir, DIG North Kashmir, were in attendance alongside senior civil administrators. On Tuesday, the Chief Minister held a similar meeting in Pahalgam, the site of the 22nd April terror attack that left 26 people dead. The strategy basically to step out of the fortified civil secretariat and hold meetings at key tourist spots is aimed at easing fears and sending a strong message of security and stability. The government is also hosting tour operators from across the country, hoping to rebuild confidence and reboot tourism in the valley. Our special correspondent Idris Lone getting us this report from Gulmarg. Take a look.
To revive the tourism in the Kashmir Valley and also restore faith of the tourists planning to come to Kashmir region, the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Umar Abdullah, has been holding key meetings at different tourist spots across the Kashmir division. Today, he was in Gulmarg, which is a famous ski resort, where all his cabinet ministers, along with the top officials from the administration and also the top police officials, which also included the IGP and the DIG of northern part of Kashmir, were present for a meeting where they discussed a roadmap for the tourist revival in the Kashmir region. Yesterday, Umar Abdullah was in Pahalgam, where he had a special cabinet meeting, and later on he also met with the tour operators who've come from different parts of India. 60 of them are here in the Kashmir region for the next 2 days, where they'll also be helping the government with restoring the tourism across Jammu and Kashmir. The government is hopeful that the central government will also play a key role and help them in restoring tourism across Jammu and Kashmir. With video journalist Feroz, Idris Lone for WION World is One.
Let's shift focus for now. Kamal Hassan's recent remarks at a Chennai film event where he claimed Tamil gave birth to Kannada ignited a firestorm of a controversy. The statement was made during the audio launch of his film and was part of a larger speech. And pro-Kannada organizations swiftly condemned his comments, threatening severe repercussions. The Karnataka BJP president accused Hassan of disrespecting Kannada in an attempt to glorify Tamil. Vijayendra demanded an unconditional apology, stating that Hassan, who has acted in multiple Indian languages, including Kannada, displayed the height of arrogance. Vijayendra also criticized Hassan for previously insulting Hinduism, quote-unquote, and now offending the self-respect of Kannadigas. He stressed that while Kannadigas don't hate other languages, they will fiercely defend their pride when it comes to their land, language and people. The Karnataka Chief Minister, meanwhile, also took note of the controversy. He said, and I'm quoting, "Kannada has a long-standing history. Poor Kamal Hassan, he is unaware of it," quote unquote. Meanwhile, 70-year-old Kamal Hassan is all set to make a Rajya Sabha debut. This comes after the DMK decided to allocate one of its seats to his party as part of their electoral alliance. Almost 10 months after Sheikh Hasina's ouster, new details have surfaced about what really transpired before the then Bangladesh Prime Minister fled the country and resigned from her post. During the hearing at the International Crimes Tribunal, The chief prosecutor provided details about the last hours of Hasina in Bangladesh, when army officers asked Hasina to step down from her position on the morning of 5th of August 2024. She reportedly said, "Shoot me and bury me here." Hasina's defiant words meant very little as she eventually fled to India hours before protesters entered her official residence and vandalized it. Her ouster and departure from the country was followed by a massive crackdown on her party. The Bangladesh Election Commission has officially suspended the registration of Awami League for elections. This means Awami League will not be able to participate in any upcoming polls. Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal is trying the whole party as an accused entity in mass killings case. Despite Awami League's departure from electoral process, the Mohammad Yunus-led interim government is finding it hard to reach a political consensus on elections. Bangladesh's National Consensus Commission, tasked by the caretaker government to lead critical democratic reforms, has said that it has failed to reach an agreement among political parties on key democratic reforms. According to reports, despite 45 sessions of talks with 38 parties, there has been no consensus on issues like term limits for the Prime Minister and the selection process for the President. Bangladesh's biggest political party, BNP, is pushing Yunus to hold elections by December this year. Apart from BNP, the army chief has also expressed support for holding elections by December, aligning with the BNP stance. And with a stalemate on reforms and rising pressure to hold elections, Yunus faces a rather difficult choice: to go with the protesters that demand reforms before polls, or to call elections, as the army chief and the BNP are demanding. Between Europe and the United States, alliances with nations are also narrowing down to alliances between political forces. Donald Trump's close allies are openly calling for Polish voters to vote for the Conservative candidate. During the first Polish edition of the Conservative Political Action Conference, U.S. Homeland Secretary called on voters to elect Conservative candidate Nawrocki in the second round of their presidential election.
If you elected a leader that will work with President Donald J. Trump, the Polish people will have an ally strong that will ensure that you will be able to fight off enemies that do not share your values. You will have strong borders and protect your communities and keep them safe and ensure that your citizens are respected every single day.
The Warsaw mayor also has outside support from his liberal allies. During a campaign rally in Warsaw, he was also joined by Romania's newly elected president. On the ballot during the first round, the two are separated by less than 2% of the vote. People who voted for other candidates in the first round can be the point of difference in the second round. As things stand, where 1.5 million votes that went to far-right Confederation swing will decide the fate of this election. Confederation has not yet endorsed either of the candidate, but their anti-EU and Ukraine skeptic can have a natural tilt towards conservatives. Poland will hold a runoff election on June 1st. According to the latest polls, Liberal Warsaw mayor is leading with 1 point ahead of his right-wing rival. On to Mexico now, which is preparing for its first ever judicial election after ex-president there introduced and approved a reform which changed the way judges are appointed in the country. The election on the 1st of June will look to elect all of Mexico's judges by popular vote. This as opposed to the decades-old system of judicial appointments being made on grounds of merit. The reform last year triggered widespread protests across Mexico. Thousands opposed the amendment and critics slammed the ex-president for politicizing the judiciary. But as the country now prepares for the first of its kind judicial election, many families are telling stories of how the justice system has failed them in the past, and how they are hoping that the new system brings about change and increases accountability of the judges. Listen in.
Pues hemos confiado Las autoridades.
We have trusted the authorities, but up to this moment, we believe they have omitted many things and have not done their job properly. I believe that people have not had the justice they need for many years.
Muchos años atrás.
I'm very concerned about the judicial branch because there are people who are deprived of their freedom, and we don't know how much longer they'll be there. We don't know how it's going to be structured, how it's going to function. That's my personal fear. What will happen to those who are in prison?
For us, there's still no justice because of the corruption of the judges. Sometimes, we're just about to learn something, and then something comes up, they get released, and that's it. For us, it is very, very difficult to understand why the judges act that way. They get the prisoners and let them go, even if they're guilty.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition right now. We are taking a very short break. Stay with us.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
India's unprecedented diplomatic outreach to the world. Multi-party delegations expose, isolate, counter Pakistan's terror machinery as a threat to peace-loving, development-oriented humanity.
The stress of our world can take a toll on our physical and emotional health. Here, in New York's Catskill Mountains, lies a luxurious place of healing called WION Wellness Center. The WION Wellness Center provides 500,000 square feet of natural methods to manage diabetes, hypertension, chronic pain, obesity, depression, anxiety, and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy in personalized programs that help you take charge of your own health. A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at yowon.com.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
vielleicht nur als Imposant.
Welcome back. This is WION World as One. We're glad you're watching. Time now for fine print.